Peter, in her first briefing, I think Carolyn Levitt was questioned by Peter Alexander about this and came up with that some untold number of $1 million, $60–90 million were spent on condoms. Not true at all, according to the Washington Post, fact check, which we, it got 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post, but it's, all of us have looked through this and it's just not true. Aid into Gaza is one of the things where in all of these multiple missions that I traveled with Secretary Blinken last year, he was trying to surge aid in after Israel had frozen food, water, fuel in the opening days of the invasion, weeks of the invasion. 9 days in, maybe it was a little later than that, Secretary Blinken spent hours and hours arguing that that should be lifted. And as part of this ceasefire deal, as you guys both know, a surge in aid in trucks going in. Israel doesn't trust the UN, the World Food Program, and UN agencies, UNRWA, but U.S. aid and CARE and the World Food Program have all been critical to that effort. Peter?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And Steve Witkoff, who is President Trump's new special envoy to the Middle East, has just traveled to Gaza. No American official of his stature anyway has been to Gaza for quite a long time. And I think he came out of there expressing what an extraordinarily devastated place that really is and how much work is going to need to be put in to rebuild it. I think what his statement emphasized was that America has a role in that. Now, that America's not the only one has a role in that. Both the Biden administration, I presume the Trump administration will try to recruit Arab countries in the region to play a big role in that. It won't be just the United States, but there's obviously a national security interest there in the United States rebuilding or at least finding a way to deal with the crisis, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, because that simply, of course, destabilizes that region even more. The more Gaza is, left to be a wreckage and a wasteland, the more possibility there is for insecurity, for terrorism, for conflict. So again, as Jeff said, this is not just about helping people in destitute situations, although obviously there is a historic role for the United States doing that. There are strategic interests at play with the use of foreign aid and haven't been for a long time.
And Peter, Marco Rubio, I'm told, has just confirmed that he is now the acting director of USAID. Now, I just returned very early this morning from Panama, where he was. He was also there this morning watching a migration event, which was the deportation of Colombian migrants back to Colombia. And this was all set up under the Biden administration. A memorandum of understanding in last July, planes started taking people out of Panama back to Colombia and other countries starting in August. So this was just watching an event that showed that Panama was cooperating on migration, but there was a real showdown there this weekend where he met with the president, the rest of the government, all the ministers, and said that President Trump has decided that China's involvement operating 2 ports among the 5 ports along the Panama Canal mean that China is a direct threat to national security, and it's a violation of the Panama Canal Treaty of 1977, and therefore they're going to be taking some action. So this is the first time he's talking to the press, I believe, since the whole trip started. He didn't in Panama at all. Panama Canal, again, Jeffrey, is, a showdown over this. From my reporting, I was there for 5 days, 5 nights. Panama runs the canal. It's very clear.
And has for decades.
There are 5 ports, and has for decades.
Somehow our goods keep getting through.
70% of the goods that go through go to the U.S. customers. And they're making a very big deal about the threat.
Right.
And it seems like they're even going to say, and maybe take legal action, that this is a violation of the treaty. And Panama's president pushed back very strongly.
Right. Well, let me just lift up for 1 second and sort of ask the larger question here, which is that if you remember, and obviously you do, President Trump, before he was president again, promised to end the Ukraine war on the first day back in office. So that hasn't happened. But what's happened is he has picked fights with allied countries, Canada, Denmark, Panama, and so on, big trade partners like Mexico. And so I'm just trying to figure out the methodology here. There are true rivalries, true adversaries that we have. Canada is not one of them, and Panama is not one of them. No one has brought proof yet, and it's possible, right? China is an adversary. No one's brought proof that having the Chinese manage who unloads and loads goods on ships in Panama is a national security threat to the United States. There's been no proof of that yet. So these are mainly manufactured crises with allied countries. But on the main issues geopolitically, the Ukraine war, Taiwan, and so on, we haven't really seen that much action on the part of the administration.
And I think you're going to start to see more about Ukraine next week when the Munich Security Forum convenes, which is an annual meeting, and I'll be attending that. But in fact, no, you're absolutely right. And Peter, just to wrap this up, Peter and Jeffrey, what we are seeing is that there is a backlash, certainly in Latin America, and people I've been talking to for the last week, pushing, ironically, in Panama, which is probably the closest ally that the U.S. has had in Latin America, in that region, on immigration and other issues, on fentanyl, illegal drugs, pushing them towards China. And China has been in Panama. They started building the canal, they and France, before we took it over, the construction in 1904 and completed it in 1914. It's pushing them towards China, which has been trying to make inroads all over the region, as we know, for many years now in their Belt and road operations around the world. Anyway, we'll leave it there. But Peter Baker, Jeffrey Goldberg, it's so great to have you both on. Thank you so much.